Whoa.
All right.
Mike and John got it going on.
Hey, that's us.
It's Wednesday, and Cougar's on.
Hey, that's her.
Mike and John got it going on.
Wait a minute.
What?
Well,
Good morning.
Yes.
It's Mike and John got it going on.
good morning.
And we're brought to you by Jordan Genso, the official Giggo Realtor.
Well, yeah. There can only be one official Giggo realtor, and it's Jordan Genso.
That's
Now-
correct.
Now, you seem to have some...
Well, this is a big day.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
It is a big day. I agree.
Cougar's here.
right.
We got to bring your microphone over a little bit.
Okay.
Come on over.
yeah,
You can
well-
put the guitar down for now if you want. Bring that microphone. There you go. That's a
Right.
microphone
And then
sliding sound.
Right, and then if you want to kind of... Okay.
All right.
Get in the picture.
So, Susan is here, Cougar here, and on a Wednesday,
For now.
and Monday was your birthday.
It was.
Happy belated birthday. We talked about you the whole show.
Thank you.
Did you hear that?
I saw that, yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
All
I
right,
did.
so...
But that's good.
We got you this cardboard cutout.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And-
I always wanted one of those.
Right.
And just for you, we changed the color of the background.
Right.
And you made it in on the day we changed it. Isn't that
It's just,
special?
our
I
new
just knew.
blue background, which is largely driven by the fact that most of my t-shirt wardrobe is black, and if the background is black, then you can't wear black tin. So
And it just looks like
that's
your
really
floating
what's,
head.
That's really what's driving this.
No, it looks really,
Yeah,
really good.
It does.
I spent
Move
many
in
hours
this way.
at Joann
There
Fabric.
you go. Yeah. You becoming a regular?
Yeah.
Hey, John
So-
walks in there like, John!
I know
Like the norm of...
the first time I went in there to get the black background, it was like I had to figure out the whole process of like taking the bolt of
Look at you.
felt to the right table where the lady measures it and cuts it, and I'm kind of like just following other women around. Like, what do you do? What are you doing? Because I'm certainly not going to ask. It's
Heck
ridiculous here. So anyway,
Kind of like directions.
Yeah.
right? No, I'm not going to do that.
All right, so we have this ice storm advisory warning.
Right.
Yes.
All
going
schools in Livingston County are closed, and others.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
everyone's
Well, we're prepared.
It's
for
fine
it.
now. I think it's because it's going to hit in the afternoon.
The ride home.
That's what they're
All right.
participating in. But I've always find it funny the comments from the older generation. They're like wimps,
Right.
Yeah.
jerks. When I was a good producer, when I walked 14 miles uphill both ways. Okay.
Barefoot, too.
Yeah. Right.
No winter
Okay.
clothing.
Okay.
All right.
The
So-
Wonder bread bags were
yeah.
on our feet.
Right.
You had to put your feet in the bread bag to get inside your boots, which if they got wet, so
Well,
you could
those
get
people, I'm always like, I tell you what, why don't you get behind the wheel of that school bus on that icy back road, and let's see how you do.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, I don't know what's going on.
With all the screaming kids. And
That makes it fun. It's like a ride at the amusement park. All right. So school closed. We've got a lot going on today. We'll get to Susan's review. What are we talking about today? You want to give us a little
Something
tease
that's
on that?
accessible to, everybody.
I think men will be very happy
Oh.
that I suggest this product
Okay.
for
Okay.
their women.
All right. Whoa.
Well,
We'll see if we got a winner.
I guess we have a little not safe for work warning.
Okay.
So,
And if the kids are home, that's your warning. We have we're gonna talk steaks today. For those that like to grill, with a friend of the show, Rebecca Foster, is going to be joining us a little bit later on. We'll see if we got a winner in last night's TNT. Our 2-cent history lesson coming up, and John with a look at local news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton.
all right, here's what's going on. A Florida trucker who previously had entered a plea to a single count of vehicular homicide for an Ohio crash that killed 4 members of a family with Livingston County ties has now been indicted by a grand jury invalidating that plea deal. 29-year-old Darren Roquebert had pleaded no contest January 30th in Sydney, Ohio to a single count of vehicular homicide. In exchange for the plea, 4 other counts were dismissed. A no contest plea is not a legal admission of guilt, but it's treated as such at sentencing. But court records show a grand jury returned an indictment February 16th for 5 felony counts of aggravated vehicular homicide. The case was sent to the grand jury after a toxicology report indicated Roquebert was under the influence of methamphetamine, cocaine, and amphetamines at the time of the crash. He was driving a tractor trailer that crossed the median on I-75 in Shelby County north of Dayton Christmas Eve. The truck struck 2 vehicles with family members traveling together for the holidays. One of the vehicles the truck hit was driven by 32-year-old Lauren Hahn of Westland with her mother, 63-year-old Kimberly Segrist of Brighton, as a passenger. The other vehicle, driven by 32-year-old Jeremy Bone of Farmington, had his wife, Karen, as a passenger. She was also the daughter of Segrist and pregnant at the time of her death, thus the fifth count of aggravated vehicular homicide. A Genesee County man has been charged with 2 felonies related to an incident in which police say he impersonated a firefighter after showing up at a house fire in Unadilla Township. 18-year-old Ethan Clark of Grand Blanc has been charged with impersonating a firefighter and use of a receiver or scanner in the commission of a felony. An exam is set for March 7th in 53rd District Court. The Unadilla Township Police Department reports it responded on Monday, February 13th at about 2:26 in the afternoon to assist the fire department with a structure fire on Van Sickle Court. The fire was extinguished with only minor damage to the residents and no injuries, but during suppression of the fire, police say a man, later identified as Clark, arrived on scene in a personal vehicle equipped with emergency lights and a siren which he was using. He had minimal firefighting gear, including a helmet, safety vest, and a radio. He identified himself as a Brighton firefighter, even though the Brighton Fire Department hadn't been dispatched. Clark was not allowed to participate in the firefighting efforts and then left. Fire department staff, though, notified police. They were then able to quickly identify Clark. After they made contact with him, he allegedly confessed to responding to the fire scene, as well as doing the same in surrounding counties. Clark remains lodged in a $5,000 bond. And in the wake of last week's shooting deaths at Michigan State University, Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin will co-sponsor the Bipartisan Background Checks Act of 2023 and the Assault Weapons Ban of 2023, as well as reintroduce her Safe Guns, Safe Kids Act, which requires safe and proper storage of firearms in households to prevent children and others from illegally accessing the weapon. That bill was first introduced after the deadly mass shooting at Oxford High School in November of 2021. It passed the House, but then failed to win Senate approval. Slotkin also plans to hold a virtual town hall Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. to discuss the shooting at MSU and other students and constituents, the opportunity to provide feedback on legislation that they want to see in the wake of the tragedy. You'll find the details for the town hall meeting on our website, mikeandjohnpodcast.com, and that's what's going on.
And news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Their estate buying event begins next Tuesday, February 28th, and goes through March 2nd. It's a buying event where they'll buy your silver, your gold, diamonds, and more. If you've got some old heirlooms lying around, you want to get appraised and check out what they're valued at, they're buying those. And if you use store credit, if you take store credit instead, they'll give you a 20% bonus. So check that out. It's the Cooper and Binkley Jewelers annual estate buying event, February 28th through March 2nd. If you need more details, you can check out their website or visit them on Facebook. Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. And Susan with us again today for a special Wednesday edition.
Yes.
And Susan has a review. Let's do the review before we get to the trivia, because I haven't had a chance to go through all the answers in trivia yet.
Okay.
So you said this product is something that men will appreciate
I
for
think
their
so.
women.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
I think it will help.
First, I want to ask what's in your cute little Yeti cup there.
Oh, wow. That is a cute little
Isn't
Yeti.
it
Why
a
don't you
cute-
bring that on
yeah,
camera?
Bring the cute little Yeti.
Look at that.
Look at that.
It's like a mug. It's like
Yeah.
a Yeti mug.
It's a daint little thing. Can you fit that in your cup holder in your
I
car?
can.
Wow.
So, you know,
Yeah.
what you need is the Mike and John
Yeah, that's the Mike and
This is,
Mike and John. Is that what it is?
Yeti-like.
Yeah.
Yeti adjacent.
If you like Yeti, you'll love the Teddy. The similar to Mike and John.
Yes.
To the
All right.
Yeti. Okay, so what's this review you have for us today?
Okay, so having turned another year older, which I'm not very happy about that, but
You should be, because if you didn't, then
You finally hit
wouldn't-
30.
The
It's about
alternative.
time.
yeah, you're
Right,
catching up
right,
with us
yeah.
old folk.
well, I can't change my age increasing, but I can change how I live it. And I tend to always go towards natural products versus prescription medication when available.
Right.
Being the age that I
like how you're
turned
cupping it like this where
on
we can't see it.
Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. She really is.
Yeah, it's,
The last couple years, I've been on this wonderful journey, and I'm sure a lot of you ladies can.
you get hot at times and not hot
It's
at times.
a wonderful journey.
It is a wonderful journey. I'm so very blessed to be a female at this
Men
age.
are on this journey, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just in a different way.
Much like when you're rope around your feet and you're being dragged by a horse. I'm on this journey, too.
Exactly.
Those
So
the
that's
number to
why.
call about that to complain about John is 517-525-9052, ladies.
Oh goodness. So there is this company, Shackley.
Yes, I've heard of Shackley.
Okay. I highly recommend their products. They have such a wide range.
Wait a minute, are you doing a
Wait
pitch
a
here?
minute.
What is this? Are we getting a kickback
Is this multi-level marketing that's happening here?
This is Menopause Balance Complex.
Menopause Balance Complex.
Yes.
Okay. And what does it do?
In all honesty, well, it helps with the hot flashes.
All right.
It helps with the insomnia. It helps with the mood swings, gentlemen. You might want to purchase some for your wives.
Oh, I thought you meant for me.
But I compared to friends, relatives, and just stories that I've read about women and experiencing this very long, drawn-out journey. I feel that this has really helped me out. My symptoms are far less.
Let me ask you this: as a guy, most of us guys, we probably don't pay as much attention to our wives as we need to on
What?
these.
I
well,
agree.
all right, it's just me, I'm sure.
What are you talking
No.
about?
Yes. So, is there a particular order these symptoms go in, and do they happen all at once? Is it you get hot and mad?
Well, you get hot, then you get mad because you're hot.
Right.
The hot flashes, I feel, are separate from the other symptoms
Here, can I see
because
the
you can
bottle?
go
You
days
gonna write that down?
without having hot flashes, but you can still
You want me to-
have
want me to hold it way over
insomnia and mood swings. So, yeah, it's all just this wonderful bundle of excitement.
And,
that
and
we
how
go
many
through.
months or years or days does this go on?
It can go on like 7
Right.
Days?
years.
It's a bit of a
Years.
Yeah, it's
7 years.
everyone's
Wow.
different.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Does it prevent mustaches?
Those comments were made by Mike Marino. Call him
If you'd
now
like
on
to
the
call
Google
and
line.
complain,
I'm just asking the question for humanity.
For humanity. Okay, Gandhi.
well, so to answer your question, I believe
can't
it
read any of
does because when you don't take something like this, then you are prone to take hormones,
Right.
synthetic hormones,
Sure.
and
That's
that
got
is what
its-
causes a lot of the
There's side effects. And,
yes. So
You know, I'm an advocate of whatever works for you.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Everybody's different.
And
Everybody's
if,
different.
if you found something that alleviates, your
Absolutely.
symptoms, then absolutely. you know.
But so Shackley, they also have a
Wait a minute here. This was not
Skincare.
approved by
prepare
the
an invoice. Prepare an
and
invoice,
it's
will you?
called Youth, and they have everything. The makeup is phenomenal. The skincare,
Wow.
again, yes, all natural. If you're interested, Shackley.com. You can,
All right.
Did you become a
Okay.
you
Shackley
can
rep? What's going
reach
on
out
here,
to
John?
me for free shipping.
I'd
Let
like
me
to
know.
apologize
Try
for
it out.
those
Give
that
it a
weren't
try.
expecting this.
Well,
Highly recommend.
all right.
So-
Yes.
So what if I went with Herbal Essentials? Do they have products like that?
I'm sure they do.
But they don't work.
There's plenty of herbal essential outlets all over, like in Ann Arbor, or maybe the greenhouse in Walled Lake.
Yes.
Those are different products.
Can I ask what your worst of these things during this journey time? What have been the worst?
The symptom?
Yeah.
I would say the insomnia for me.
Really, insomnia.
Yeah, I
Not
get
just
so
the hot
mad
flashes.
because I'm not sleeping.
Oh, that'll do
It's
it.
a little cranky.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like when you just
should
I mean,
run the
insomnia
show
is
more
when you're
often.
just laying there and you're like, you're tired, but your
Yeah,
body's like
you're just-
refuses to go to sleep.
Yep. Your eyes are just like, and your mind is going.
Your mind's racing. You're thinking,
Yeah.
what product should I try and hawk on the Mike and John show today?
Exactly.
All right. Well, we're glad that works
Yes,
for you.
I hope
Yeah.
this helps women around the world.
I think it will.
Okay. All right. So, trivia. Did you get a chance to?
No, I was too busy talking about that.
Okay. Well, tough.
I was involved.
Of course, trivia brought to you by our OG sponsor, Firehouse Door, celebrating their 25th year of serving Livingston County. Family owned. They strive to treat each customer like family. Mike Witt, a proud U.S. Air Force veteran. Of course, they're veteran-owned, and they're your one-stop shop for residential, commercial, and rolling steel overhead door needs. Call Firehouse Doors today, 810-599-7480.
All right, so the Tuesday night trivia, TNT from last night. Stats show, on average, men do this 40% more than women. Did that have anything to do with our review today? Did that influence today's review?
I was doing my show prep at 2:30 this morning.
All right, so a lot of great answers, and the number one thing that came to mind for me, and I think a lot of people answered, was swear.
Now
Men swear 40% more than
that
women.
answer's close,
It
but
is.
not in the way you might think it is, like a letter close.
Carla said, drive above the speed limit.
Yeah.
I think that's a given.
I don't know. I'm a speed demon.
Are you?
Yeah.
So when you put in like MapQuest or your GPS and it says
I'm gonna
you'll
beat
arrive
it.
at 10:41, your goal is to be there at 10:30.
It's like
Absolutely.
challenge accepted.
I'm like, game on.
That's right.
Game on,
Now,
Siri.
another
are
one.
you like me, where certain songs make your vehicle automatically go 20 miles per hour faster?
Yeah, absolutely.
It accelerates a little
Yeah.
quicker. Greg said send flowers. That's a great guess.
That
I would
is
probably
yeah.
use for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Christine said hoard the remote.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Lisa said talk to the neighbors. That is kind of more, I don't know. It depends. If you're
Yeah,
outside doing the
that's-
yard work, that becomes a guy thing. But
If
sometimes women are more friendly with neighbors.
I
Like,
mean-
guys are like, yeah, whatever.
right, I'm on good relations with my neighbors, but really only because of my wife.
Yeah,
You
they're
know,
not-
honestly, I think you guys are, they tend to stereotype women as like being kind of nosy busybodies and getting the gossip and stuff like that.
think
But
guys
I
are
think
just as
you
bad?
guys are worse. Like, oh, God, they got a new car. I wonder what happened to their other car. What,
Wonder if you got a
like they
raise.
got to know the story.
Is
Like,
he into
uh,
Bitcoin?
Or like Edna Kravitz on Bewitched, looking
Exactly.
through the Harold.
And then you come back with their cousin was in the hospital this Saturday, and they know so much information.
I don't know.
But did you
I think if
remember it was
just-
my birthday?
I think if it was just guys, we would just. All we would do is grunt at each other as we take our garbage cans to the curb.
Hey.
like Tim on Home Improvement.
A little bit of that.
Close.
Let's see. Primp in front of the mirror is what Diana said.
Really?
Guys, 40%.
Yeah.
Well,
See, that's
40. That's not a lot. I could see that.
40% more likely than women to do this?
I could see that. There's a lot of pretty boys out there.
Oh yeah, we're way more vain. That's one of those stereotypes that's like
Like Fonzie.
exactly.
Like
Yeah. Well,
Checking
yeah.
out
I mean, that's how I approach the mirror. I look at it and I go, I'm perfect.
hey.
My wife's like, you're not really looking at a mirror. That's your high school graduation photo. Yeah, I know. You look at like I said,
We
whatever
see what
works
we
for
wanna
you.
see. Ross said not get into car accidents. Oh,
wow.
That was Ross.
Call Ross.
Yes.
Ouch, ouch. Yeah.
Charlie, our international correspondent from Madrid, said, after reading these comments, I'm thoroughly convinced it's sleep on the couch.
Nice one, Charlie. Christine said use bar soap over body wash. I don't know, the liquid stuff is so much easier.
See, I don't agree with that.
You like the bar soap better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more work.
Does
think.
Shackley
You
have
gotta
a bar
squeeze
soap
the
you'd like to
button.
hawk on the show?
They do. Free shipping. Contact me.
All right. Work overtime, said Tim Debbie. Bite their nails, their fingernails, said Melody.
a
Toenails
good
might be
one.
kind of tough.
Now, I didn't see anyone getting the answer.
I don't think so.
I don't believe anyone got.
Scanning through.
Yeah.
Laura said cheat.
Yeah.
Ooh, like how?
You know
Physically
how.
or like on
Just
a test.
fill in the blank.
A couple of ladies said lie.
All right, our answer was, now you said swear at the top, and I said that's close by a letter off,
Yes.
because the answer is sweat.
Sweat.
Yeah.
Can
So-
make you sweat.
Except for during menopause.
Except for during the journey.
So
The long journey.
that is very true.
Yeah, I thought women just glow.
Well, and when we were in Florida, here's the thing.
Were you looking for women with pit stains?
No. for me, I was like my own biosphere wherever I went. Like there was like a tropical storm front over me at all times because I would just break into a sweat. Didn't matter what was going on. Like, we would just be standing there, and suddenly I looked like Albert Brooks in broadcast news, where it was just
That's like
sweat
menopause.
pouring. And my kid standing there was like, "Why are you suddenly sweating?" Like it would just come out of nowhere. Like it's not like I ran anywhere because we know that's not going to happen.
John.
Oh, thanks.
I'd give it a try.
So anyway,
Does it work? And it works for men too. Going through menopause.
all right. So thanks to Firehouse Doors, our OG sponsor and sponsor of trivia.
Yeah.
All right.
Today's Ash Wednesday, Founders Day, Be Humble Day. We're going to get to our 2-cent history lesson in just a few minutes. And before we get to our good friend Rebecca Foster, Rebecca posted just shared a post regarding, I think it was 7 different myths about grilling meat.
Right.
or
There was an
cooking meat.
article. She shared it on her Facebook page, and
When we had Rebecca on the radio station a few times, she kind of filled in for the great Foodini once in a while and talked food.
right, she's more of a baker. That's
Yeah.
more of her.
That's
menu.
more her forte.
But the article, there was some interesting. I looked through the article in the 7 myths,
Oh, you
and I
did
thought
some
there
homework.
were. Yeah. And
I'm glad you did.
I will say 6 of the 7 I totally agree with. There's one of those 7 that I'm like,
You've
nope,
got a-
nope,
you've
sorry.
got a but.
You're not going to tell me that that's not true.
All right.
So,
well, we're going to talk
yeah.
to Rebecca in just a few minutes. But first, I want to thank Jordan Genso, the official Giggo Realtor. Jordan with Remax Platinum, community servant and community realtor with over 15 years of real estate experience in the industry here in Livingston County. He's a part of the Genso team. He says he's the leader of the Genso team. Other members of the Gensos may not think that. However, Jordan.
What are you trying
Well,
to
it's kinda
cause
like-
family strife over here?
Well, we talked about Jared yesterday
Yeah, sure.
and such. So Jordan can use his local knowledge and experience to provide you with an expert opinion, uses expertise to get you what you need, whether you're buying or selling a home. Jordan Genso from the Genso team.
Yeah.
Let's get today's Jorbit.
All right, today's Jorbit, brought to you by Jordan Genso, thus the Jor in Jorbit. Jordan entered the real estate industry full-time in 2007 as the market crash was in its beginning stages.
That's right. He was dabbling in it before.
Excellent time to enter.
It was about time to crash.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
So Jordan
I
said,
became a stockbroker.
I'm going to do that.
I'm a stockbroker in 1929. Good job. With consistently having a couple dozen listings to actively serve, Jordan became the team's listing manager. He hopes to never again need to utilize the skills he picked up when dealing with short sales and distressed properties. Because when you think about it, that's probably actually, in a certain way, a good time to get into the business because you're going to put all your skills to the test right off the bat.
Exactly. Just like when you get into a podcast and you don't know
Oh,
what you're
you
doing.
don't know what you're doing. I mean,
You just
some-
roll
yeah.
with it.
But he says he's grateful to have already made it through that type of market were it ever to return, which it never would, of course not. Everything's going to be great. So, yes, Jordan entered the real estate industry full-time 2007, and he's never looked back.
Are you sure?
Well, he's
You may
never
have
had any
checked the
regrets.
rearview mirror.
Well, except
No,
for maybe
no regrets.
sponsoring this. But
That
other
could
than
have been a
that,
regret.
yeah. So, that's your Jor bit
Exactly.
for today.
Nice Jorbit.
Yeah, and of course Jordan Genso with
You
the
need-
Genso team. Why don't you?
Oh, you want me to finish that up?
Because it's all the way over there. I can barely read the bottle, so I'm not going to read it over there.
Take 2 with water. If you need a realtor with experience serving in the Livingston County area, give Jordan a call today, 248-444-9777, or you can find him on Facebook at Jordan Genso Community Servant, Community Realtor. All right, let's get Rebecca up and rolling this morning. Rebecca Foster joining us to talk about grilling. And, it is Ash Wednesday, so those that are
Yeah, I
taking
guess.
in Lent, you
Hello.
can. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
it's
morning.
Mike and John and Susan from Mike and John Got
Hi.
It Going On.
Hi.
So, Rebecca, I was talking about the fact that it's Ash Wednesday, so what better time to talk about grilling meat
Talk about me.
than today? So I saw the post you shared the other day and reached out to you to see if we could talk a little about this. And it's, what was it, 7 myths about grilling meat or making steaks?
Hello.
Hello, sorry.
Oh.
It cut out there.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And also, I'm not awake. So
Oh,
I'm
well,
hello.
join the club. All right, so the post that you put up, this article you shared, had these 7 myths of...
Have you tried menopause balance complex?
I'll order some after we're done.
Oh yeah. Well, talk to
Contact
Susan.
me.
Yeah.
Free shipping.
So, by the way, we've been multi-level marketing
Yeah, we
here
have.
all day. So sorry about that.
Yeah, John and I didn't know where this was coming.
But yes, the article you share, the 7 myths, and specifically the 7 myths that need to go away when it comes to grilling steak.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, I am not the steak person here.
Yeah,
But I thought this article was hilarious because this guy just does this deep dive
right
into these quote unquote myths.
Yeah.
And like does experiments to show you why.
Yeah, normally you see headlines like this and you'll open it up and it'll be what they call a listicle, where it's like it's a couple of a paragraph at the beginning, a list, and then a paragraph at the end, and it's kind of like, yes, there's an article. This was much more in depth. As you said, this gentleman was carrying out experiments.
Yes.
So John had mentioned that there was 6 of the 7 he agreed with.
Right. When you read his rationale and you're like, okay, I see what you're saying. You're providing evidence. That's all good.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 7, though, I'm like, no, sorry, buddy.
Let's start with, if you don't mind, Rebecca, we'll have you go through the 7 myths, just the headline or the myth, and then we can go into the one that John doesn't agree with.
I have a guess as to what John is. I
yeah.
had several people that are just like, yeah, no.
They're up in arms.
I'm
Well,
doing that
I'm
forever.
open-minded to all these, but not that.
Yeah. So myth number 1 is you should let a thick steak rest at room temperature before you cook it.
So you leave it sitting out on the counter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And hang on.
And the thinking is that if you bring it up to room temperature, it'll that way it all cooks evenly.
Cooks it evenly.
Yeah, right.
And that was the first one where, I think it's like 3 pages
Yeah,
of what he did
Yeah, he
to say, no.
right because he set it out and then he was like measuring the temperature as time went on, and he said really over it was 20-25 minutes, it doesn't make much of a difference. It only goes up a degree or 2. Yeah.
Well, I think he let one of the steaks sit out for like 2 hours,
Right.
and the temperature only warmed up by like 5 degrees or something like that. It was like minuscule.
So
I
myth.
thought that was pretty interesting.
So it was
Myth busted.
Yes, and it was like an invite for germs to come sit on
Well,
my
that's
steak.
everything.
Well, he even said that. He's like, 2 hours, like, okay, that's enough. I should cook this thing now.
Right. After I shooed the flies off of it,
All right, then myth number 2 was sear your meat over high heat to lock in the juices. Sear your meat.
Yep.
That's kind of fun to
Mike
say.
locked into that one.
So
Careful, Mike.
I'm just reading what the myths you put out there from this guy. Bone-in steak has less flavor or more flavor than boneless steak.
Yeah. That
Boneless
was myth number 3.
That's
right.
myth number 3.
That was number 3.
And that's I guess that's more of a subjective one. I mean, somebody could taste is one of those things that's hard to quantify.
Some guys like to chew on the bone.
I was going to
Fred
say
Flintstone.
it's probably the preference of chewing on.
Well, I think the author even admits that the meat will be, not as done closer to the bone, and that's his thing. Like, give me all your bones. I'll chew the meat. That's great.
Right.
Okay, Captain Caveman.
Yeah, exactly.
Like to crack those open and suck out the marrow.
Yeah, we all want to invite him to dinner.
Sure.
Right.
Comes with his own bib. Myth number 4 was only flip your steak once.
This was really funny because he's just like, he starts off, and to be honest, I'm not sure what the theory behind this is.
Well, and I have heard that too, as far as only
Right.
flipping the steak once. I don't know if I agree with that, but let's go through the other ones. There was don't season your steak until after it's cooked, and then there was a couple more.
And that was one that, I'm like, okay, whatever. Again, that's a preference thing, I suppose. I mean, I don't know that it's going to taste any better or not. But he, as you said, he went through all these and he kind of, sort of tried to provide some evidence why that myth isn't reality.
Yeah. And then
Oh, go ahead.
myth 6 is split into 2 parts.
Right.
So it's don't use a fork to turn your steak.
Because you
And
don't want
if
to
you
puncture.
cut it, and then the second part is if you cut it open to check doneness, it will lose all its juices.
You don't want to lose the
It's just
juices.
gonna
That was like
pour
6B.
right out of that little slit to give you steak.
You don't want to lose the
Steak.
juices. Get the juices in there.
And then
then-
number 7.
And with before we move on though from 6, basically again he kind of went through that and said the way if you think like if you puncture it, he compared it to I thought the
like you're letting the air out of it.
well he said it's like he'd be like it's like if you had a swimming pool full of water balloons and you threw a pin into it, you might pop one of the water balloons, but overall it's not going to make a big difference. In other words, if you poke the meat, it's only going to let out the juice in that very particular spot that you poked.
Right.
Not all the juices come running, and you have to plug it.
There's like
Exactly.
beef jerky left on,
Yeah, you're not going to stand there and see all the juices run out and your steak just,
right.
wrinkle up.
Generally, I don't use a fork, but I will cut in. You always want to have. No, this is just my own. You always want to have a sample piece of meat. There's the cook's meat. That's okay. That's your sample piece that you can cut into. That's the piece that you check. That's the piece that the chef gets little extra bites of while he's cooking.
It's your reward for standing over the grill.
There's always an extra piece. That's the chef's test piece.
I see.
So, John, what you're saying is that if we come to your house and you grill steaks, there's going to be like a hole in the middle of every one?
No. Exactly.
Just
It's
his own.
To avoid that, no, I have an extra steak.
That's the tester.
So by the time I sit down,
Now, wait
I'm
a
like,
minute.
I'm
What
not
if,
hungry.
what if your tester steak is on a hotter part of the grill,
Well,
or a warmer?
you got to move it
not-
around.
I see.
Yeah.
It's a traveling
You got
steak.
to make sure that that it represents the average of all of the spots on the grill. You can't just So this is very important. It's more important that I just have extra
I
pieces.
think so.
So, all right, on to number 7.
This was the poke test, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
He
so
poked holes in that.
he poked holes in
Yeah.
the poke test.
Now this is the one where you use your finger to sort of
Yes.
check
No.
the bounce back ability of the meat.
See, I thought that was so you could bounce back ability. Isn't that where you
I'm
can?
touching my meat.
I touched
Oh,
everybody's
God.
meat on the
Too
grill.
early.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
No, it's never too early,
So
Rebecca.
I thought that if you do the touch or the poke test with your thumb or your finger, that's how you tell how done it is. Isn't it? Like
Right.
if it has a certain
Yeah.
flexibility, it's like rare, and the tougher it gets, the less pliability, I guess.
Right. The bounce back ability.
the bounce back, the bounce back effect.
It's the bounce back ability. That's the thing. Where you,
So
you-
which
you-
one is it you disagree with that Rebecca brought
It's
up?
number 7.
It's the poke.
Yeah.
Get it, fella.
No.
No one's going to tell me that my index finger is not a scientifically accurate meat thermometer.
Oh boy.
And what's funny is that most of the responses I had to this post and people that just said, "Oh, I read that," and by the way, this is the one they disagreed with.
Right.
That the poke test does not.
That's always
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's always, to me, that's the final arbiter of, is this meat ready?
Yeah.
Well-
I personally am a meat thermometer person.
I know.
Yeah, me
Same
too.
with my
They
wife.
exist.
Whatever. With your statistics and your
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah.
Science, I know.
Science, whatever. But I'm using my finger.
After he licked it, ooh, that one's juicy. Now let's test this one.
I think what we're getting from this is that if John invites us over for steaks, we're not going.
Rebecca, do you have? I know you said you're not really a steak person, but do you, or meat person per se? But is there a particular cut that you go with if you're going to grill steaks or have a family member grill for you?
Yes, the family member. My husband grills the steaks. I'm the prep person, so if we're doing other cuts of meat, I'm the one that does the marinade and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But anyway, we get meat from my nephew. Everyone in my husband's family are farmers.
Oh, you got a connection.
Nice.
Yeah, we got a
Oh,
connection.
all right.
So we get we can go up and say hi to the cows if we want to. We know.
I am having you for dinner later.
Exactly.
Awkward to me.
You look tasty.
Hey, have some more grass. We'd like the steak a little bigger by this
The
weekend.
cow's like, why are you drawing on the side of me? That one
Why are
right
you
there.
putting your name there?
Yeah, right.
So of the cuts we get, I like Delmonico's,
Okay.
Delmonico's.
Delmonico's, yeah.
which is
Now, what part of I don't even.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've heard of it, but I'm not quite
I
oh,
thought
sure.
that
I
was
think
the
it's
chef's name.
it's a rib steak, I think,
Okay.
without the bone.
All right. So
and really like those. If I go out, I always get a fillet, which is like what you're not supposed to get, but I don't care.
Well, why are you not supposed to get a fillet? Because of the cost?
No, because apparently it's not the best cut of
it
meat.
really is.
You're
Yeah,
supposed
that's
to
the
get-
thing.
See, I thought it
You're
was the
supposed
leanest.
to get
so-
the 32-ounce cowboy steak that looks literally like somebody, butchered the cow out back and put it on your plate. It's crazy.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah,
didn't
they're
know that.
huge. Oh yeah.
Or you go to the Hungry Heifer.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What's the goal? Is it to have the bigger steak or the better tasting steak?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
going with John on this. Is like you do you.
Okay.
There you
I got
go.
that.
There you go.
What about the seasoning the steak before or after? Because you get all these guys that like to put the rub on.
I just
After touching your meat, or
So you rub the meat.
do you
That's
rub-
kind of like
do you rub and
foreplay.
then touch, or do you touch and then rub?
I agree. This is too early.
yeah, and I knew this is how this was going to go.
Oh yeah, of course.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Was there
Rebecca.
any doubt?
Yeah, Mike's like, it'll be fun. I'm like, well,
Yeah. Let's define fun.
You have your fun.
That's right.
Do you have a go-to marinade?
well, for things like flank steak, yeah, and I can send you guys that recipe.
Oh, that'd
It's
be
one
wonderful.
of those weird. It's one of those weird marinades that it has orange juice in it, and all the ingredients sound like they'd be completely disgusting together, but then when they all come together, it's so good.
Right.
Oh,
But
wonderful.
for just grilling a steak, salt and pepper before for half an hour or so, and that's it.
Yeah, I would say honestly, salt and pepper is probably mostly what you
Yep.
need.
I got to take
You know.
notes on you guys are the
Less
pros.
is best, right?
Yeah.
And definitely do not use meat tenderizer. Honestly though, people swear by it or whatever, but it's just a chemical tenderizer that you sprinkle on it, and it's like, no, you don't.
Well,
Don't do that.
Speaking of them,
Well, and then they're going to cook it till it's well done, and
Right.
then they're going to wonder why the tenderizer didn't work.
Exactly. It's like to just cook it right, and you don't need the tenderizer.
Don't they have a hammer for that? Those little hammers with that look like they have
Yeah, well,
points on it. You pound the meat.
So we're touching, rubbing, and pounding our meat today.
Oh gosh,
Well, I've never used one.
that's my cue to leave.
Yeah. Am I done?
You're right.
No wonder Susan can't sleep.
All right.
No, have you ever used one of those little meat tenderizer hammer things?
No.
No,
No,
Why?
until
I just-
where you're like pulverizing the meat.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I don't. I've
Well,
seen.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We have one.
I have one when the recipe calls
Bad meat.
to have it thin, like for chicken
Right.
and stuff like that.
You're supposed to,
make
exactly.
it thinner. Yeah,
Right.
but
I clearly know nothing about this.
You just show up with a fork and a knife and a napkin tucked in your shirt.
If I'm cooking steak, I throw it on the griddle or the grill and let it go. If if I'm having chicken, I do the same thing. I don't hammer.
But
the
honestly,
thing.
that's the thing. I think probably less is best
Yeah.
when it comes to because you're right. There's a lot of people that are all these different interventions and things that they're doing, and it's like probably
Yeah.
like you said, mostly just throw it on the grill and eat it. You're
I'm
going
a
to be
foodie.
okay.
Well, and buy a good cut of meat.
Well, that's kind
You
of
know,
starts. right?
well, and I agree with you with your family being farmers. We purchased a quarter cow a couple times in the last couple years, and it is extremely different than when you buy
it
it at
is.
the store. So the taste is phenomenal, and you don't need much.
Yeah, I got people buying from my nephew because,
Yeah.
one example was I was taking care of some a friend's kids while they were moving, and I fed them spaghetti and meatballs, and they went home and they're like, "Oh my God, Mom, the meatballs, they were so good." And she calls me up. She's like, "What's your recipe?" I told her what my recipe was. She's like, "That's my recipe." And 3 days later, it occurred to me. I called her back. I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute."
It's the
Yeah,
meat
it's
part
the
of it.
meat.
Yeah.
It's the meat
So
part.
there you
And
go.
she's like, "Really?" And she buys meat from my nephew now. So-
Yeah, it's
Well,
true.
we're gonna have
though.
to get your nephew's name and number for the next time we decide to have steaks at John's.
Just make sure there's an extra one.
I've always thought,
for me to,
because most of us do go to the grocery store and we pick out that meat, whether it's steak or chicken or whatever, and you don't really think about the animal. So I would probably have a hard time if I'm you visiting your brother and seeing Elsie out there and saying, "Well, your days are numbered, but I'm going to try it."
Well, and
I know that's how
people
life
get-
goes, but
Yeah, but people get really kind of separated from their food source
This is true.
in going to the grocery store. So,
Yep.
yeah, they're just like, oh, well, it just comes in a package.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's
no,
already cut
actually,
for you.
No.
So, all right. Well, Rebecca, we appreciate you joining us this morning. It's been a lot of
Yeah,
fun
good
for
to
us.
talk to you guys.
And hopefully you didn't mind just, getting out of bed early for us. We appreciate it.
Well, I minded a little, but I'll give you a hard time later.
All right, sounds good. Rebecca Foster, thanks again for joining us.
All
Looking
right,
forward to
thanks.
talking to you again soon.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good day.
All right, you
Do the
too.
same. All right,
Yep,
yeah.
bye-bye.
A lot of fun with Rebecca this morning. See, I told you that would be fun, didn't I?
Yeah. Well,
And you guys had to take it
and,
to that place.
and yeah, well, of course, and already.
Are people
the
chiming in on-
description of this show we poked, rubbed, and pounded our meat with Rebecca Foster,
There you go.
and she will delete. She
Yes, she
will block
will.
my number. So, but that was fun and interesting.
It really was.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up, since we got through the trivia, we had Susan's review. We do have our 2-cent history lesson to get to, unless you had something else.
Oh, I've got nothing else.
I thought so.
I mean, look. After
You've contributed
after
enough
you've-
of your steak
After
chips.
you've pounded the meat,
all right already.
you just gotta sit back.
He's just gonna relish in
I just need a cigarette now.
He's probably going to take a nap. Should we bring it? It's got a little drool coming out there. All right, it's time for our 2-cent history lesson. Brought to you by Oakland Insurance.
Oh, what? Sorry.
All right, brought to you by Oakland Insurance. Our 2-cent history lesson for this February 22nd, just days past Susan's birthday.
Yes.
Ash Wednesday today, Founders Day, the World Organization of the Scout Movement. If you go to their website, they can tell you all about it.
Okay.
Be Humble Day. Be Humble Day.
You know, I am the humblest person you'll ever meet.
You are, and you'll tell
So
people about it all
humble.
day.
No one's more humble than me.
You're right.
Thank you.
It's Walking the Dog Day. And George Washington's actual birthday today. You know how they gave us Monday as President's
Right,
Day.
right.
Wait, you missed one.
I did.
My favorite one.
What one did I miss?
It's
Oh, Margarita Day.
Margarita Day.
Come on.
Margarita Day, yes. Do you drink margaritas while you're performing at the American Legion?
If someone buys me one, sure.
So let me get this straight. While you're playing at the American Legions, you're doing Friday nights
Yes.
during
Fish fry.
Lent. So it's you're like the fish fry girl.
I'm the fish fry girl.
Do you come home smelling like
I do. This last Friday,
a job
Craig's like,
of a-
"You smell like grease." Like, was that a good thing, or
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a, yeah.
should do that more often?
French fries. It was on this day in 1630, the Indian Quadroquine introduced popcorn to the English colonists at their first Thanksgiving. And shame on you for thinking that Charlie Brown Thanksgiving was not accurate.
Well, yeah. It's,
I don't know if toast was in. But popcorn and
he showed up
toast.
and he said, "Where's your microwave?"
The first successful chinchilla farm in the U.S. opened in L.A.
Oh, wow. Very historic.
1923.
Very historic day.
The first successful
Yeah.
chinchilla.
Well, the unsuccessful chinchilla farm.
We don't want to talk about
Didn't
that.
make it.
They're like, "Hey, what are you grilling?" Well,
Did
It got to
you
room
pound
temperature.
it, season it, poke it?
you know, the fur didn't work out, but boy, these chinchilla steaks are really good.
John's over there poking the chinchilla.
Stop rubbing the chinchilla.
In 1979, the Police appeared in a Wrigley's chewing gum commercial. The band members dyed their hair blonde for the appearance.
Right. You can find it on YouTube if you want to go search it. It's very interesting.
Yeah. 1980, music manager Malcolm McLaren fired Adam Ant from the original Adam and the Ants. What did Adam do?
You went on it.
Well, the rest of the group became Bow Wow Wow. Adam went and found some new ants for his group.
I'm sorry, I just he found some new ants.
Needed-
I'm moving on.
Hey, you want to
New
be an
ants.
ant?
I'm auditioning some new ants.
I guess I just found it interesting that the ants became Bow Wow Wow.
Right, right.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that actually.
And their song was "I Want Candy."
Which was what ants want.
Yeah,
Ants want
wanted
candy.
the sugar.
Interesting. Yeah.
1986, MTV dedicated a full 22 hours to the Monkees,
That was a
showing
good show.
45 episodes of the original Monkees TV series. So that would have been kind of like the 20-year anniversary,
I think so.
I
Yep.
think, back
Yep.
in 1986.
They kind of brought him back. And then because they reunited that year and went on tour.
Yeah.
And I think largely based on the popularity of that, them running those shows, people like tuned in like, oh, I love the Monkees. And so they're like, the Monkees like, oh, we can make some money. All
Here's
right.
our change.
about
Here
that?
we go.
Yeah. Well, they had a couple songs they released back then too. So
Right, but it was after that
After they
marathon.
showed the
That marathon kind of like generated the, like, oh my God, there's this Monkey Mania. And so suddenly everyone's like, hey, why don't you guys make a little cash
hey,
here?
hey, I'm a monkey.
And they talk down to the side of their mouth. Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Smith, put that back on. 1997, Scottish scientist Ian Wilmot and his colleagues announced that they had cloned an adult sheep named Dolly. What's her name?
Did they poke it?
First cloned sheep. Dolly had been born the previous July and became dinner in September.
Success!
Pork chops for everybody.
Come on over for dinner tonight. Bring some mint jelly with you.
Susan, you're in charge of applesauce.
Success.
Lamb chops and
Yeah.
applesauce.
That's pork chops.
Pork chops.
If
and
you're thinking of the Brady, Bunch,
Bunch,
yeah, with Alice. Pork chops and applesauce.
I loved Brady Bunch.
Great
I was a Brady
recipe
Bunch
got
geek.
You know,
raise.
as many times as I've said that around my kids or whatever,
They have no idea.
they look at me like, "What are you even?"
Dad, you're weird.
And
But
then I
it
start
still feels good to say it.
well, yeah, of course, you have to. You absolutely have to.
Doesn't matter if they know.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
And they
Wasn't it because the recipe was on the chalkboard and somebody
Yes.
erased it and Alice lost her wig?
wow, that's a lot.
She didn't have this. It's available.
You know what?
No, but she had Sam the Butcher.
She had Sam the Butcher, and she was getting some good meat.
After bowling, of course. 2006, at least 6 men,
No snorting, John.
Sorry, I didn't snort.
at least 6 men
It was
staged.
coming.
It was.
2006, at least 6 men staged Britain's biggest robbery ever, stealing about $92.5 million from a securities depot. Several participants were identified and jailed. However, K-eyed Patterson, also known as Kane,
Right.
whom the police believe was the key player, still remains at large.
Dun dun dun.
They think he's in the West Indies, in case you want to
Well,
look
now
for
we
Kane.
know. Okay.
And finally, 2018, according to new research published in Science,
Science?
Neanderthals, not humans, were the first artists on Earth, producing red cave paintings 65,000 years ago. How about that? That's your 2-cent
How
history
about
lesson.
that?
Brought to you by Drew Goebel.
At Oakland Insurance.
Yeah.
Of course, he believes in honest, upfront, and fair
Yes, he does.
stuff. You know, the stuff that
When
insurance
it comes
people
to
do.
insurance,
Yeah, thank you.
maybe the last thing on your mind, but that's okay. Ain't that right, John?
Oh, hell yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's the first thing on theirs. Let's be frank. Whether we're talking about your home, vehicles, business, or life insurance, the unexpected things can happen. And on the bright side, you know you can depend on Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance and Michigan-based Frankenmuth Insurance to provide peace of mind that you need. Call Drew today at 248-647-2500. Drew Goebel, Oakland Insurance. We
Right.
appreciate him sponsoring the 2-cent history lesson.
And we also appreciate Murphy's Family Auto sponsor here on Mike and John Got It Going On. Go to them for all your auto repair and vehicle maintenance needs. Since 2011, they've been providing the whole shebang. Car, truck care, engine, transmission work, electrical services, heating and cooling issues, brakes. You name it, they fix it, fella.
Nice.
Call Murphy's Family Auto, 517-552-3040. They're open Saturdays 8 to 1. Tell them Mike and John sent you. Save 5% on your bill.
And if you call Susan about Shackley, you get free shipping.
Right.
Free shipping.
Murphy'sFamilyAuto.com. All right. Well,
I think that's it for today.
I
isn't
think
it?
that's
Do
plenty.
you want to hear about the guy that paints with his tongue? Or do you want to save that for tomorrow?
Wait a
I
minute.
don't
I'm
know.
honored about that.
Well, we'll tell you about that after the show.
Next time. Hang on, Mike and John got it going
Take
on.
us out, Susan.